have that in there.
All right, we're gonna call, I'm gonna call a special meeting for the city of Vernon, August 1st, 2022 to order. Chad, is that please?
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this opportunity to be here to do your will. And we ask you, Lord, that your will be done, and for the city and for our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In this special meeting, we have one item on the agenda, and that's the ARPA funding. Ms. Michelle?
Alright, so I did not bring my materials back with me from last meeting, but hopefully I'll have a chance to review the handout and just to kind of break it down really simple. In the final rule from Treasury on your ARPA expenditures, they have kind of given you the opportunity to take one of two paths. The first path is to essentially declare the money to be a replacement for lost revenue, and you can do that up to an amount of $10 million, which we didn't get anywhere near that amount, so we're fine with that. Or you can dedicate the money directly to capital investments, but for reporting purposes, you all need to kind of make that declaration of what path you want to go. So there are still some limitations on the use of the funds, even when you've declared them as lost revenue. But there are more limitations if you pick capital investment. But you may have a need to make that declaration, and that's just kind of
The capital one? Nervous about it. Kind of nervous about it.
Michelle, if my understanding is correct, if we go along the lines of what you mentioned before about instead of going capital gain, if we go as loss of revenue, we can still designate after the fact on line.
yes. And so my recommendation, of course, I'm just the lawyer. You all have to make the decisions that are best for the city.
But you have the guidance.
My recommendation would be to take the cap of the lost revenue, because we can go back and look at some of your expenditures from I think we can go back to March of 2021, and some of those we may be able to do kind of a set off from your general fund and kind of replenish that. And then we had some. I'm trying to think of what you all spent your CARES money on, but we would have had discussion back then about other needs that you had.
Well, there was some on the fire department, some on the budget.
Yeah.
That's already been, but even that, I mean, that would fall under loss of revenue anyway.
What you said, you did something we did with this one.
I'm not exactly sure, but what she's saying is if we declare it under loss of revenue, we still fall within the guidelines of being able to spend the money on as they're gonna let us anyway. Correct, Michelle?
Yeah.
It's just, basically, it's easier than trying to break it down now and saying, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this. We're still gonna account for everything that's spent and approve everything that's spent after the fact.
I mean, I can talk to him about it. He just needs to know which way you're gonna go.
And we do need to keep in mind, that was another reason for the special meeting, is because, this is also, gonna be in our audit that's being finalized now. So they need to know which way we're going, so.
Well, if we do the lost revenue now,
that doesn't say we have to decide now, right? We just have to.
You don't have to decide specifically on what projects.
Yeah, okay.
That just lets them know, and then we get the rest of the money.
It's supposed to be a more streamlined, easier
I know it's a lot.
process.
It's a lot.
This way, in my opinion, from what I've looked at, it seems a lot less complicated
It is.
to do it this way. That's just my opinion on what's the will of council.
A lot easier.
So you wanna put it on the agenda while
That's what the meeting, the special meeting part of is tonight. So I guess if nobody has any more questions for Michelle or nobody else has anything to say, then I'll call for a motion to approve the ARPA funds to be declared under loss of revenue.
I mean,
Motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor?
So if you haven't yet, read through the frequently
know.
asked questions, because y'all do need to, you know, as
It's
a
a
group,
lot.
you need to kind of come up with a list of things that you would like to do, and then you'll need to, you know, prioritize your projects. You have until it's 2024 to actually spend the money.
but it's a lot of things we can't do too. I'm reading it, it's a lot of
Yes.
stuff that you have to be very careful, because there's a lot of things you cannot do with that money. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah, and that's what.
'Cause I kind
basically-
of went through I don't have I didn't bring that that I had, but I kind of went through and highlighted some of the things that they said
And that's gonna be the case no matter how we do this.
I know it. It's gonna be
We
done.
still have to follow the guidelines.
Follow
This
the
is just a smoother line of process. And we're all in favor? Aye.
Joey made the motion to approve who was the first.
No, Chad made the motion,
Oh.
Joey seconded, because they did that at the same
Okay.
time, so. Motion carried. Special meeting for the city of Vernon is adjourned. Open up the workshop for 8/1/2022. Number 1, future land use map amendment application. Has everybody read this? Michelle, I know you reviewed this, and everything seems to be in order.
Yes.
Yes, but now.
Is that y'all number 1?
Yeah, it's on Jowers, that's the first reading.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's usually read in a public hearing. She normally has a script.
Okay. Yeah, and that goes along with number 2. This has to be done in a regular meeting, correct, Michelle?
Yes, you would normally read the ordinance at a meeting. It has to be done. Well, that's what I was asking, was it,
Yeah, it has to be advertised, and we have to do the readings on it. That's why I asked if everybody read it, because I looked
I
over
read it.
everything and it's in order, so as far as I'm concerned, it just needs to be put on, needs to be advertised, and,
Can I ask a question?
yes, ma'am.
Letters were sent out to all of the neighbors of this property to let them know. Why wouldn't that count as the advertisement so you can go ahead and do the first reading?
Because the city has to do be advertised for. Is my understanding it's the way it's always been,
Yeah, it-
legally.
So those letters didn't count for this?
They count for something else.
Okay.
We have to, but there's a state statute that governs land use changes and how we have to advertise those. And then the city of Vernon also has its own rules for advertising. The ordinances have 2 readings. And I don't see any issue with the first reading necessarily being a workshop.
It is, that's not the,
I don't know how it was advertised.
Well, I think this hasn't been advertised yet. It's the issue.
Well, I mean, just as far as it's in the rule, then it can be on all the websites.
Okay, but the question is, and I think we're all in agreement here, nobody has an issue with it, we just wanna do it the right way.
Right.
So it's, county doesn't come back on it or anything like that, I mean, we just, so,
it's just kind of a formality more or less.
it is.
So,
So
it's
how's
not
the
bad.
quickest way to get this done?
I bet you got, we're not.
With advertising and 2 readings. Can I read it tonight, or would that be improper?
And I think you can do the first reading tonight.
And then I'll advertise for the second reading for the 15th.
The advertisement has to be 10 days prior to the adoption, which happens immediately after your second reading.
Okay, so we're talking a reading tonight, reading at our next regular meeting,
That's when you'll adopt it.
and then we'll vote on it that night as well. We can do both at the same night. Okay. At this time, I'm gonna read the first reading of ordinance number 22-234, an ordinance by the City Council of the City of Vernon, Florida, Washington County, Florida, approving the application of Cheryl Boswell Brock and Hubert H. Boswell Sr. and FAL property owners for an amendment to the future land use map and comprehensive plan of the City of Vernon, Washington County, Florida, dated April 4th, 1991, as amended by changing the future land use map designation from City of Vernon Residential Medium 1 to City of Vernon General Commercial for 1.07 acres of land at 2902 Moss Hill Road, Vernon, Florida, parcel ID number 0048230000, providing for a copy on file, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Ask if there's anybody in the public that wants to
Is
comment
there
on it.
any public participation? That being said, we'll put the second meeting and put it to a vote at our next regular meeting.
That will be the 15th.
Yes, August 15th,
The second reading will be the 15th,
as well as the vote.
and the vote.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything on that? Number 3, advertise ordinance.
That
That was your question, was,
yeah.
and what, did you get your question answered, or where?
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much.
How
For state funded grant agreement. Anybody?
Can we do
That's your Scott grant?
Yes.
Right. Last time, I think, did the county do the engineering and all on the Church Street? County done all the paperwork and all?
we had to put that out for bid.
We have to,
I know that, but did y'all hire an engineer or did the county do it?
The county only did it because they had an interest in I
No,
don't
no,
think they'll do this.
what happened with Church Street is, that was a project that the city of Vernon
Scott Grant.
did not get to follow through with. We did not have the funds, so Washington County, matter of fact, Mr. Hawkins explained it, I think the last time he was
Yeah, I
here.
just talked to him
We
today.
piggybacked
Right.
on them, and they took care of it.
Right. Does the council have a problem with that? If the county would be interested in doing this the same way, no charge?
You talking about the Yellow Jacket Drive?
Yes.
That's what this is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you're asking, do we care if you see if it's,
If the county will do the same thing?
I think the issue last time was that the project maybe wasn't managed. So,
We got to go up there and see.
right, I'm saying this time you should have time, adequate time
to do it
to do it
ourselves?
yourselves.
But if we have to hire an engineer, can the county manage it?
As long as DOT is okay with it.
Yeah, what I'm trying to find, if we could just save the money on the engineering, and the county's engineer, they doing all the, most, it's up to y'all. I can find out what the county can do, and y'all can tell me no at the next meeting. Yes,
Well, that's
ma'am.
what we need to know exactly.
Yeah, 'cause I'm kinda confused in what,
You know
You're
how
not explaining yourself very well, Gary.
Right. The city got the Scott grant on the last one, on Church Street, I was here then, unless something went right after I left. But the county came in and administered it. Didn't charge the city nothing. And I'm asking the question, is the city interested in seeing if the county will do this on Yellow Jacket Drive with this Scott grant? We can save the engineering fees and all that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. Well, when the county did, like I said, the county had an interest in Church Street. See, that's why they did it.
Well, they can either say yes or no.
Well, you can try, I guess.
That's
But
up
I'm
to
just
y'all.
saying, we need to know exactly, because you know how they backpedal, and they'll say they're gonna do something, and they don't do it. So. we need to-
I know that the last time that they took this on, it was to help the city because we were losing out because something had not been done, it had not been followed through with or something, I'm not sure. I know
And the
city started
buses.
it Because that was before,
The buses was going to go through there.
It would have to go through the attorney, she would have to get with their attorney.
yeah, so basically what you're asking for is if we mind, if you find out information, if they would be willing to do that.
Yeah,
for
they're
Yellow
my
Jacket
man.
Drive. I don't
And
mind
it'll
getting
all have to go
information.
through her anyway.
I don't mind.
Saves money.
Well, no, if they do it.
But y'all aren't putting out any money on this part.
No,
Why wouldn't you?
So is the grant plan for the,
Well, why
that,
would-
yeah, but
then
you
why?
got, you don't have so much money, I don't know if that's enough to actually do the paving. I'm trying to get the most paving we can.
Okay, well, you
You just
talk to
gonna
our
get Yellow
engineer,
Jacket
just
Drive,
say,
that's all you're gonna get, you ain't gonna get them. On that grant, true? Because
see,
it's for Yellow Jacket Drive.
I understand that, but it comes to price of asphalt and all, it went up so much higher.
Then maybe we need to go back to DOT and ask for more funding.
Because of the prices
possibly, I
on
mean,
it.
because I know what
I
ended up
see where
happening last
it's
time.
going.
Yeah, I do too, but last time it was a last ditch effort on the county's part to let us piggyback. This is an opportunity for us to do it ourselves and it not cost. I see you're wanting to save on engineering, but have you spoken with our engineer?
No, I will talk to him tomorrow.
So I think we just you jumped the gun just a little
Well-
bit, trying to
Well,
go straight to the county instead of talking to
Well, my engineer told me on this other Church Street paving, that they don't have time to mess with it, that's what Dale told me.
Well, then maybe you don't need to be our engineer then,
But
okay? If you don't have time to do
Well, I think
that,
he needs to be
maybe
here
he
to
needs
say,
know.
speak for himself
As
on
simple as
something like
that.
that.
Well, all right.
Maybe we need to look for
All right,
another
y'all
engineer.
y'all carry on like you want to.
Well, I'm just saying, why would they say something like that? I don't understand. We hired you to be the engineer. Why is he saying that we don't have time, he didn't They don't have time. Come on. You know,
I'll ask them to be here at the next meeting.
well, he needs to be here, because I will
You can.
ask them, what's the big deal? What's the deal here? We hired you to be our engineer. Don't tell us you ain't got time to go with that. Come on.
Well, and
And these people is waiting.
this way, he's not here, so it's really kind of hearsay as to whether or not. So maybe when he can be in a meeting, he can explain.
We wanna put that on the agenda for a meeting,
We need to call him. We need to be at our meeting.
It'd be nice to get Church Street paved when the county paves that road. They're working on it now, they got signs and all up, so they fixing to pave it. But it ain't gonna be, next week or two, but they got signs in the barriers up, cause I went down yesterday and looked.
Somebody going all the way
Now, you
out to
talking
your
about-
place.
I'm talking about in Church Street, where we gonna
The
pave.
part where we're paving,
Yeah, from there,
they're already.
Mr. Brock's right there at the old house, from there all the way to Holmes Valley, they gonna pave it.
But we've been told that our part of it's gonna take up to 2
A
years.
year, over a year before we get ours approved. But what I'm saying, it'd be nice, you know, if we could time with the county, that's what Trey's talking about. It'd be nice if we tie in and get them to do it all, you know, to the highway,
Yeah.
which is what, maybe be a half a mile at most.
Well, maybe Trey can come and explain.
I think we need some more information, clarification on that.
I
Before
give you
we
more
go.
information, I just asked y'all, what do you want me to find out?
You know, what you can find out. I mean, it's not gonna hurt.
No, I'd like to know one way or the other. If this is something we're gonna do, then we need to be able to cover all bases to decide which way we wanna go. Because as the attorney said, we have time now. This isn't before when everything got dropped and it was finished.
And is the county gonna wait 2 years before they get it approved?
Yeah. Like I said, ain't one wanted to ask, you know, somebody asked a question. Are they gonna be over, you know, what is it, half a mile at most? You know? Just find out, all you can do is ask. That's why Trey said what he said of it. You know? We need to see, you know, what it costs the city and still wait a year and a half or whatever it's gonna take the city to get that grant, and just see what it costs. You know, county might wait, you know, I don't know. All we can do is ask. I'm saying though, they fixing to pay it.
Well, and our grant's been approved. Now we're just going through the motions.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a lengthier process. All right, does anybody else have anything on that? You're gonna get the information and we're gonna discuss it some more. Resolution number 5, resolution 2022-184.
That goes with the.
That was it.
Okay. That's right, that is attached to that, I apologize. Number 6, Ms. Rhonda Dixon requests roll-off of dumpsters for the citizens. Ms. Rhonda?
I think that y'all already have scheduled for one to come in September,
I think it's September.
either September or October, like we've had out there before.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm requesting that one come in August. I don't know if any of you, when you go to the post office, have noticed, but people are dumping off TVs and mattresses and all kinds of junk at our thrift store. So
I
you
know.
can't even get in there. And we have signs up saying that what they do is they come after hours and they're using us for a dump, so they don't have to pay to take them to the county dump.
That's a
And so
shame.
we have to find somebody to take it and pay the county dump to take it. So right now, through the girls in the front office, thank goodness, they've gotten us a bigger dumpster so we can get rid of some things, but I'm asking for the city to go ahead and get a big dumpster out here in August, so maybe people will put their stuff there instead of down there at the thrift store.
You've already got it scheduled for when?
I think it's September, but I'm not positive.
But
So
we're
you're
in a
asking
hurt
for
right
the
now,
new
and it's
forward
because
Right.
I
the
see
people,
that mess there.
oh, it's terrible.
Terrible. And those ladies can't live that stuff.
I don't have a problem if you can get it scheduled to move a month early. What does the rest of council think?
Thank you so much. I mean, it's obvious that it's needed.
What's wet now? How many did you
Karen,
get, just one?
Did we get 3 again?
No,
What do we get?
from what I understand, we're just getting the ones to put here in the parking lot.
Normally there was,
3.
well, there used to be 3. There would be, we used to put it at the Sportsplex,
Yeah.
Shady Grove, and 1 here, but then we started putting 2 out front.
2 out here, okay.
And 1 at Shady Grove,
And
was
one
where
at
it was done last.
So you want it that one to begin.
Because the Sportsplex was too far out. and
Right. So Shady Grove and 2 here.
2 here and 1 at Shady Grove. Is that agreeable with everyone? And just see if you can get them to move it.
I'll go ahead and
Put
put
a
September
move close
slot.
this weekend. And all they know put,
Thank y'all so much.
if they do that,
They do.
some other time they don't, they still bring all that stuff. But they can't, they need to, I don't know how we can stop the appliances.
Well,
They bring
that-
refrigerators, washers and all that stuff and just put them on the side.
Mhm.
That's what they did last time.
Catch them on camera dumping it. Yeah.
But I'd rather it be here than there.
Well, but that's what.
Just being honest.
Who's to say that, won't happen again? You may need to get you some surveillance signs. A lot of times that deters people.
Well,
And a lot of people.
off
use
and on,
security
we've had
cameras
cameras, game cameras there, but we've not caught anybody. But I mean, the post office people, they see people dumping off too, but you're doing the Lord's work, so you don't want to really call anybody on it, but their conscience should keep them from
I mean, but that,
Doing it.
now it has gotten out of hand.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
what you're talking about is a dump site. It's not somebody
Yeah.
getting something.
Oh,
No, they putting stuff there.
They're bringing
They're
stuff,
bringing
not,
stuff, but
not
this-
taking
you
it.
can't even
I mean,
see
we
that
do have
garage
people who
part
go
now.
through and
You can't even
take,
see that
okay?
little part
That's
where the
between them and the
garage,
Lord,
where they
but
usually
this
put the stuff
dumping
under there,
business
you can't even see
is
that. There's so much
terrible.
stuff there.
And then there's so much, it's all out in the rain, and it's awful.
They do it to us over the Sportsplex too.
They do the same thing to you. Oh, I thought they were doing it all for us. Well, maybe these dumpsters will help,
Yes.
and we may want to have them more frequently than we've had in the past.
And make sure we advertise too.
Yeah.
That they're
so-
there.
So
Or
people
maybe you could put a
know.
door, something on the door, or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just leave it out by the dumpster.
Well, and generally there's a flyer and the Goldies put it on the site as well.
And maybe
We can do
those
it
that are on
twice a year.
Facebook can put it on Facebook
Yes,
too, not just the
exactly.
Vernon site.
Yes.
That might make a difference. Okay, moving on from there, I don't see about October 1st on here.
Oh, that's because I'd already done the agenda when I got all the emails, so I'm just gonna talk about that after we get done.
We'll talk about, okay,
Yes.
all right.
After
That's
we-
it. Thank you,
after we
guys.
get under
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Rhonda. Number 7, food drop box for donations. Ms. Fortis?
Well, last Wednesday, we served over 90 people food. And we've been asking the local churches and stuff, and so someone gave us a box, and it's about the same size as that table that sits in the front hall that has a plate on it and everything. And I'd like to put it here. I asked Karen and Rose, and they said by their door because people come in that way. And it is a food drop box. You open it up and you could leave non-perishables, if y'all don't mind. I don't know that we would get any donations, but if, they've offered to advertise on different pages and stuff.
I don't see a problem with that.
No need.
If it's gonna have something in it.
Thanks.
Karen, you said you were gonna bring up this,
Yes, ma'am. Miss Waller sent me an email, and they're basically the Historical Society would like to open their museum on Saturday morning, October 1st, from 9 to 12, to accommodate the Vernon High School class of 62 as they celebrate their 60th year graduation. Since our hours for operation are normally on Wednesday, this will also be a convenient opportunity for the public to also visit the facility. In the past, we have been loaned the key and the security code to the building. At times, the clerk came and opened the building for us. They're basically requesting permission, working with the City Hall personnel to open the Vernon City Hall on October 1st so that the class reunion and public might have access to the Vernon Historical Society Museum.
And we don't need a city employee to stay here, we just
Somebody
need to
can.
lock and, unlock and lock back up for us.
How long are you open?
8:30 to 12,
Well, it says 9 to 12.
9 to 12. But we need to be a little bit early to workers.
I'll open it for you, Mom.
So,
I don't know, as long as the main.
you're gonna be
I don't
having
care.
an operation.
Yeah, I won't be here.
I don't mind.
You'll be available to open it, close it.
This has happened in the past before, and there's not really been an issue as long as somebody can. So Mary, you will do that. Thank you.
I'll send you my.
I'll get.
I was gonna say, I would be available also with,
All right. So closer
If
to
you can, just let me
closer to
know.
the time, we'll solidify that.
Yeah, you have
Thank
to
you.
remind me.
Thank you very much.
Okay, does anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss?
yeah.
Go ahead.
I had it written. The proposed millage rate, the report is due Thursday, the 4th. For our,
Is that at the time?
oh my goodness, property appraisal. I've got all the information I need except for that, because we have not, y'all have not set a proposed millage rate. I don't have a paper on it.
Okay, so what, I'm having a hard time here, what are you asking?
I'm gonna go grab it. Michelle could probably explain.
Right, I mean, I just couldn't hear you to
She
understand
said,
it.
I guess they're gonna come out with the proposal. Is it the Thursday they're gonna have it? Millage rate?
You all have to tell her what she needs to put on the form that goes to the property appraiser,
Yeah.
what your proposed
Well,
millage
I'm
rate
gonna put
is.
the-
Are y'all gonna raise the millage? Is that the story?
Well, you could put the
Or is it
same.
gonna stay the same?
We have to, that's always decided at budget
We
time.
usually leave it at the same and then.
She has to know something to put on the,
So we usually leave it
So
at the
what do you-
same and then they,
so you'll have a proposed rate, and that's what's gonna go out on all the notices. And you'll need to set your budget hearings, you need to set your, where you got the tentative, and then you'll have the final one towards the end of September. After all your budget hearings, make sure that you're gonna collect enough in ad valorem to meet your budget.
Okay, so they're coming out, they want this information when?
Thursday.
come on.
What's their current
Their
rate?
current rate right now is 4.9442.
Property values have gone up this year, so if you don't change your rate at all, you should still see an increase, and of course that has to go out on the notice. People will get a notice that looks like their property taxes are going up.
I guess my confusion is that normally all this is dealt with during budget time, and they're asking for this now, so do we give them, What it
This
is
part's
now?
always set this time of year, because that form's always due the first week of August.
okay, so normally how's it been handled, because since I've been on here, we discuss those items during our budget time?
Yeah, there are some forms that are
So-
done during budget time. This is the only one that had, like Michelle just said,
Well,
that
I'm
had.
saying, how do we project to give any other number other than the one that we're running off of now?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is in the past, maybe the clerk just put something down.
We just put, usually I thought we put the
I
one
don't
they
know.
had the year before.
I can't remember.
That's what I'm saying. They put the one they had the year before usually.
The one the year before was
Like, what are we on now? What are we on now?
4.8282.
Where
No,
we
what
at
are we
now?
on now?
Right now, we're at 4.9442.
That's because y'all
That's
raised it.
Raised it.
Before.
So that's why I said you.
It's not really a good time to raise it again for people. Just saying.
Well, I would suggest putting that number on there. I don't,
She's the same.
Michelle, do you have?
Or you want to say it?
I mean, like I said, because property values have gone up, if you don't raise your millage, you still should see
Get some more
a small
money.
increase, just because the property values have gone up. But the property appraiser should be able to tell you that more specifically, because they've already done their assessments.
Or maybe you can call them. What they tell you.
You're still gonna have to give them a number.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
to.
this is just your proposed.
Proposal. It's not, it's not
Put the
solid.
number
It's
that's
just-
on there now, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Let it go.
Does anybody else have any other ideas?
I mean, unless you're just adamant that, no new taxes, no, that kind of.
No, that, I mean, but this is proposed, so they need a number now.
Yeah.
And so we just put them on
It
there.
doesn't say that, that
We can't change
council
it.
may decide
Yes,
to raise
you can. So
it.
you'll have two, at least two.
Budget meetings.
Yeah.
Budget meetings. You'll adopt a tentative budget and millage, then you'll have that final one. So I think it's towards the end of September.
So we could just put that one out there. There you go.
Yeah.
'Cause I think this would be the election.
I've included an email from Shaq for your information.
You don't wanna read it?
There's a couple of quotes there.
Okay, you're talking about his
Report.
his report, and there's some quotes from 10-8 and municipal emergency services.
I think Shaq had said y'all's ARPA money.
Huh? Say what?
Said I think Shaq had said your ARPA money.
He can. Oh, and he did a get the grant applied for that we worked on, the firefighter assistance grant. So we're hoping
Good.
they can get some of that.
These are
These would have to be
items
voted on.
of a request, but this has to be voted on.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't
Yeah.
put it before us, he would have just followed it. So we need to review this and put it on for our regular meeting.
You want me to put that on the, agenda for?
Put it on our regular agenda, yes, ma'am. It's gonna have to be reviewed, and maybe that by then we'll know more about the finances.
Speaking of, I did talk to Lee. Garrett is, I guess, out sick. He is gonna do his best to start on our reconciliation this week, Leah, but he cannot promise it because unless Garrett's able to come back to work.
And I spoke with Josh, the auditor, and basically they are summing everything up. They were waiting on which way we were gonna go with the ARPA funds, because they had to notate that in the audit. But they should have this information pretty quick. There's just a few more things that they have to do, so. Seemingly everything's on track. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to discuss?
Like, I got Mr. Gary,
Yes.
do you have a problem with Shaquan?
Have a what?
A problem with Shaquan?
No.
What did you tell him the other day?
Can't remember the last time I talked to him. I thought if he needed something, let me know.
What else did you tell him?
Let me give me time to think. I really don't know, Dan. I've talked to so many people.
My name's not being.
Excuse me. I've talked to your brother so many times.
That's my brother. Mr. Gary, I got a complaint against you.
Okay?
That you basically told Shaquan that you was going to fire him.
That's a bald-faced lie.
That's a bald-faced lie.
Yes.
Did you not talk to him just the other day, maybe Wednesday, Thursday or something like that?
Yes, I can't remember what day I talked to Quan. I think, I've never said anything like that. I'll stand right here and tell him that.
Okay.
Or maybe you can go to him.
Well, I got a problem, you know, I mean, because the thing is, if you're not directed by us, and this is the third time that I've had to say this, if you're not directed by the council, it's not your job to go on your own and go do this. We are the ones who are gonna vote on it. We're the ones that are going to tell you what you need to do, when you need to do it.
And I asked a while back, what y'all need to start telling me.
And when we see a problem, then we'll let you know, Andy, you can go do that, or we can go do it ourselves. We all grown folks here. That man's got a full-time job. He's a volunteer. The people there are volunteers. And we have to be patient with them. They all have jobs too. And let's make sure that we're working together on this thing and not just one person trying to run everything.
I'm not trying to run I've not said that.
Take care of your grants right now, please. These grants are important for our city so that our city can continue to prosper and do good. And actually, for the city to look good, we have to get these grants taken care of so that they can get the stuff that they need to take care of what they need.
I think Joey and William sit with me on this council, they know
I don't appreciate you calling me that for your face goodbye. I don't appreciate that. Because I know him.
I know you know.
I know him, okay? I do. I know him. And he wouldn't have told me that if it hadn't happened.
Okay, I didn't.
So, and you don't hire him and you don't fire him.
I know.
If he needs to go, he can go. He has a job. But he's doing us a favor.
Y'all can harp on me, that's fine.
I'm not harping, but I'm just letting you know. Don't do that. Don't.
I did.
Because he respects you. Because that's the way he was brought up. He respects all older people. And he would never say something, tell a lie on you. He wouldn't. Because he respects you. And Miss Rhonda, know what is this? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Doesn't he? That's him.
He's
Okay.
being respectful to me.
He's respectful.
Can I ask a question? Because this is the first I know about anything. This incident, it was obviously reported to you. You said so. And it's been reported to Ms. Wynn. What was the basis of the threat?
I don't have no clue. That's the reason I was asking Mr. Gary.
I don't
No,
know.
he said because he didn't come to the meetings. Why aren't you coming to the meeting? Where he works. That's why.
No, I asked him why they were getting,
You did ask him.
I did ask him, why aren't I coming to meetings because of work? And I said, can you get somebody else to come? He said, Miss Gary, I've tried.
They work too.
I understand that. But in the past, when,
A lot of firefighters didn't come to meetings. I know that for a fact. The last one we had before him never came. Okay, don't start with me.
I'm starting,
Okay, don't.
I'll call Shaq and apologize. I do not remember saying that.
What he said, you said, that you was
Yeah,
going
I
to
think
fire
so.
him. And I said, fire you? You don't work for the city. You don't work for Vernon. You don't work for anybody here. So how you gonna fire him? He's putting in his time for you. He's doing the city a favor. So don't. Never mind. Let me be quiet.
We gotta work together.
I
If
understand.
we don't work together,
I will
it's gonna be confusion.
You call Shaq when any time the three of us get together, I'm gonna apologize to him.
And this isn't the first time he said things you said to him, to me, okay? This
Okay.
is not the first time.
Okay.
That's why I said leave him alone, because he has a job.
And Chad's been there for us whenever we need him. You know, these fires and stuff that's happening in town, I mean, right down the road from Joey's house. If it wouldn't have been for Shaq, that house would have burned completely down.
You're right about that.
So, we got to, just let him do his job. He's doing it, he's getting the grants, he's got his paperwork right here where he's filed for grants,
I think he does a good job.
and let's let him do his job.
Well, and I appreciate the fact that since he knows that he's not able to be here at last meeting, which by the way, he did report, Gary, it was before you came back on council, or as mayor, that when he started school and all, that he wasn't gonna be here and he would try to have somebody here. But I think that this is a good idea, not only for that department, but for any other department now. Timothy, if you can't be here, this might be a good idea. What Shaq did is because he couldn't be here, and he had some things that he wanted council to know, he just talked to us. Generally, with other departments, if they can't be here, Chad's here like he is tonight. But Timothy, I know, there's games and stuff sometimes during the season, and this may be a good idea, because he's just started doing this, and I appreciate it. So, I think it'd be a good thing for all the departments, if they can't have somebody here. That being said, does anybody else have anything on that matter?
One thing, just y'all know, some of y'all know, my schedule, I don't know what's gonna happen. I got a bad report, Swanton Hospital, headed to Shands, Gainesville. I got 95% blockage, 80% blockage, and 40% blockage. And, so right now, my appointment's the 7th. I'm trying to hold off this week. I had a spell Tuesday. Try to make it till the middle of this week, but I'm gone, I don't know where I'm at.
You do what you need to do, and we'll be praying. If there's anything any of us can do, all we gotta do is let us know.
Let us also be praying for the Joyner family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steve Jordan, kind of commissioner.
Does anybody else have anything?
I'd asked, a while back, Jason, to look at the mowing, see what it would take for the city to do the state mowing. And Jason's out sick today, so I don't know if Chad had time to look at it, just give you his opinion.
I went and looked at it and I wrote down some notes, but I'll need to get with Jason before I make any kind of.
And I wasn't aware until I got here that Jason was sick.
He come in this morning and he was not doing good, so he had to go home. So I guess he's been sick all weekend, but he come in to work, but he had to go back to the house. He was not doing good at all.
If you hear anything, let us know. Call Karen, she can let me know. Pray for you. Does anybody else have anything? Ms. Karen?
We had advertised for the Cdbg DR disaster recovery grant. Just like I know, we only received one proposal from Municipal Engineering Services and one proposal from Fox Enterprises. So this will be on the agenda in the next meeting to approve them to handle this aspect of our next grant.
Anybody have anything?
You got a rec grant that's, if y'all wanna apply for it, it's gotta be done by the end of this month.
So I need to call him.
How do y'all handle that?
Does he need to get a hold of the
Okay, where's this coming from, Gary?
It's in the paper now, so we notified the state, notified the city, we eligible to apply for a $200,000 grant for sports, but, or not just sports, but that's it.
Okay, so what I'm asking is that through our grant people, that he need,
Yeah, he needs to get with Fred Fox.
okay, that was my question. I'm sorry, I was having trouble hearing somebody in the hallway was sounding like having a good time or something, and I couldn't hear. So, Timothy, you need to get with Mr. Fox.
Okay.
This paperwork's gotta be done by the end of the month, I'm sure. Karen, it's gonna be probably something you're gonna have to pull. Okay, does anybody else have anything?
I did include from Tech Eagles, I guess the fire department is wanting to get their IT up to par with the city hall.
But is that's one quote? There were 3 pages that looked good from the same company,
Yes, Tech Eagles.
or 2 companies?
2 quotes.
2 quotes from the same company.
Should be 2 quotes. One's the actual onboarding, the one-time project for getting all the tools and getting his workstation on and the network and the firewall in place. And then the next one's adding that network and that firewall to y'all's already existing agreement of monthly services.
I'll do that.
And I think the biggest thing was it's going to basically be a swap, because if I understand Shaq correctly, he's basically paying for 2 internet services right now, and one's down and it hasn't worked, and so he's walking around with that like a cell phone access point, and that's what he's using to get internet right now.
But he's paying for the one that's down?
I think he also has cable, coax service there as well, and that's one of the things that if we're on board, that's something that it will be covered, and that's one of the first projects that will get resolved as part of y'all's monthly. Because like if the internet goes down here, y'all call us and we resolve it. That's part of the coverage of it. And so,
Did he say what internet was down?
I'm not sure who the service is. All I know is it's a coax. I'm assuming Mediacom, because that's who y'all have in Vernon.
So I guess I pay Mediacom every month.
Can you
so-
find out from Shaq and see what it is, if that's the case? Whoever it is that's being paid and it's down, they need to be called in.
And they need a refund for those
Exactly.
days if it was down too.
So I'm sure Shaq can tell you which it is. Okay. Jimmy, Chad, Timothy, Miss Rhonda, anybody have anything?
The only thing I have is I'm working with somebody to come up with a plan and a project to clear the trees back from the home run fences over at the Sportsplex. It's grown up pretty good since the last couple of years, and I know Joey brought it to my attention. It's grown up on the scoreboards out there, and you have to have a piece of equipment. So with that, we're probably going to do a little bit of damage to those outfields just to get that piece of equipment in there and reach over the home run fences to beat all that brush and stuff back. So y'all will probably see that coming soon. But right now, if we're going to tear them up, right now is the time to tear them up because we got time to fix them. Of course, the infields already need to be worked anyway, so.
Anybody else got anything? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? Second? Discussion?
Joey?
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.